I enjoy this opportunity to be able to talk to you about stroke and carotid stenosis. I am a vascular surgeon here in San Antonio, Texas, and so the opportunity to talk about what I do on a daily basis is of great opportunity. So the outline about what I'm going to be talking to you about is to, one, define what a stroke is. I know everyone has heard different terminology about strokes, and I'm hoping to clear that up for you today. Also, we want to know why you need to know about strokes and why that's important for people of caregivers of elderly patients, why it's important for you to know about the signs and symptoms of a stroke. What causes a stroke? What are the risk factors for a stroke? What are the symptoms of a stroke? What do you need to do if you suspect that someone is having a stroke? What is the treatment of a stroke? And as well, how can a stroke be prevented? So first, what is a stroke? Well, simply put, we realize that brain cells, for them to function appropriately, it requires a constant flow of oxygen and glucose, which is the energy for which cells function, and that is carried by the blood. Now, a stroke, or in medical terms, a cerebrovascular accident, we physicians call it a CVA, occurs when the blood supply to the brain is disrupted. When blood is disrupted and the blood cells are not receiving oxygen or glucose, the brain cells die. Why do you need to know about strokes? Well, first of all, it's actually the third leading cause of death in the United States. Over 780,000 Americans will suffer from a stroke each year, and about 150,000 will die from a stroke. Those survivors who have had a stroke and continue to live have significant deficits and significant loss of function, and so their lives truly are changed forever. What's important is that early medical care can improve the outcome when someone is having a stroke. And usually someone suffering a stroke cannot recognize those symptoms himself or herself, and therefore a bystander who observes some of these changes of these symptoms, it is crucial that the care gets to them quickly. So what causes a stroke? Well, one of the causes of a stroke is the blockage of an artery, or a blockage due to a blood clot that we call a thrombus. And what happens is that this blood clot that travels within the artery, or the blood vessel that feeds the brain, prevents the blood from traveling to the brain and the territory that that artery serves. Typically, a cholesterol plaque and a small blood vessel in the brain that has gradually began narrowing and accumulating, getting narrower and narrower, actually starts the process of clot formation or thrombus formation, which blocks blood going through to an area of the brain. This is a video of what happens when a thrombus forms or a clot forms. Excuse me. So this is an example of what you see inside a blood vessel. You see red blood cells which carry oxygen. You have white blood cells which are actually the immune cells. And those green little particles are actually lipids, or the fat or the cholesterol that travels in our blood that contributes to the formation of atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis forms underneath the intima layer, or this superficial layer in a blood vessel, and accumulates over time. This fatty core that has cholesterol begins to build, and as you can see, as it gets larger, narrows the area that blood can travel through. Now, what puts a plaque at risk for a clot formation is when it gets larger, the top layer begins to get very, very thin. And when that plaque ruptures, or there's damage to this plaque, what happens is that the blood cells and platelets actually will form a clot or a thrombus, and the blood cascade causes this thrombus to get larger, and as you can see, it doesn't have to get very large to block this very narrow artery and prevent the blood flow from traveling past.